In case you've been living under a rock, SummerSlam is failing to sell tickets, and after watching last night's SmackDown, I understand why. First off, let's just look at the ticket sales right now. According to WrestleTix, shout out WrestleTix, available tickets still available is 5,994. Now, that we're 2 weeks away. That doesn't seem too bad. 22,000 tickets, not the best. Current set of 29,000. You think, oh, that's not the worst. You know what I mean? It's like a little like 7,000 tickets. You know, we got 2 weeks. What's the big deal? Until you understand the fact that, yeah, there's 72,000 seats in the stadium. And according to Minneapolis.org, the standard seating capacity, let me zoom in, is 66,200. And they only got 22,000. That's three times more than what they currently got. So it's like, okay, maybe it's the ticket prices. So I looked, right? Cheapest ticket, I'm in a kind of way, but you know, not bad. $76, right? Now, granted, you up here. This is about the view you would get from this area, right? It's not the worst, right? Not bad, right? Obviously, the ring gonna be like right here or so. You know, it's not the worst, but you know, you're paying $76, and WWE lately isn't exactly known to have great ticket prices. So, $76 for this, it can be worse. Okay, it can definitely be worse. And the cheapest combo ticket is $178. You know, which you're about getting up here. Again, not the greatest view, right? You're not getting the greatest view from that angle, right? Look how far away you are. So you're probably looking at the Jumbotron anyway. So it's like, all right, again, 178 for that. That doesn't seem like a good deal, at least to me personally. So I'm like, okay, tickets is kind of the problem, but kind of not. But the main concern people have is the card, right? Because no matter how good or bad the card is, if the card is good enough, they're going to go. But right now, the card isn't exactly inspiring much confidence, right? Cody versus Punk, prime example. The build to this has been abysmal. Okay, on its own, Punk and Cody, super excited for that. I remember the WrestleMania promos for the last couple years have been phenomenal. So we're finally getting them. Okay, fine. But now we got to put up the title. Sami Zayn wins the title for 9 days just to get this. And I'm recording this before Saturday night's main event. So it's a decent chance that this turns into a fatal 4-way. And if it turns to a fatal 4-way, it would make this build even worse. Because you do a fatal 4-way when you could have just have them hold the title and do the fatal 4-way that way. Have them lose the title just to do a fatal 4-way. That doesn't. And then if they don't win, what does Sami do for SummerSlam? Gunther has Nick Aldis to fall back to. He has something. But what does Sami do? Because then he has nothing. He isn't feuding anybody else right now besides Cody and Punk. So what does he do? So that might be oh my god. Anyway, next, moving on. Chad Gable versus Penta, no problems here. Everyone is super excited for this. Same thing with Roman versus Seth, kind of a little less hype to that considering it's been like 10-11 years and we've seen this match a lot. So it's not exactly a fresh matchup, but it's Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. No one's really complaining too much about that. Oba and Brock. Everyone's excited for this, but there's one problem. He rendered King of the Ring pointless. The entire tournament was pointless. Oba wins. Comes out. He's like, yo, the title will always be there. That can wait. I got to deal with Brock. I don't know if it's because my comprehension skills is terrible, but I thought that meant, hey, maybe down the line, maybe after SummerSlam or Random Raw or Money in the Bank even, he's going to cash it in his title opportunity, right? That made sense. But then he came out this past Raw and said, yeah, I relinquished my title shot. So you give up the opportunity to fight Roman Reigns at SummerSlam because you want to fight Brock. That doesn't make sense. I get it. They have been brewing this Brock and Oba thing for a while now, since WrestleMania. It was going to happen at SummerSlam. We all knew it. But don't have him win it just to relinquish the title shot. That doesn't make sense. That's like someone winning the Royal Rumble and saying, yeah, I don't want the WrestleMania match. I don't want that. I want to fight someone else for a non-title match. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. Now again, Brock and Oba is going to be great. This match might be match of the night. It should main event night 1. It should. But the treatment of Oba in this King of the Ring thing has been absolutely abysmal. Next, the other half, Queen of the Ring. That's even worse. because now you're doing a rematch of a match we just had, and it's not even like the match itself was some phenomenal, great match. It was a below average, underwhelming match that everyone kind of just went, it was there. So not only do you have your champion lose clean, right? Because yeah, she got cursed by Danhausen, but like, come on now. You lose, your champion loses clean when you could have easily have had her get cost somehow, some way during the tournament, or during the first round have someone else take the pin. So she loses technically, but she didn't get pinned and it wouldn't hurt her any way, shape, or form. You could have done that, but of course they didn't. So she's in the finals, fights Io, loses clean, and now they're doing a rematch. Why? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. Next, Usos, Fatu, aka the Bloodline versus Riskies, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa. Again, probably not the biggest problem. It's just people are kind of over the Bloodline at this point. I'm not that big into the Bloodline that much, but I'm not completely over it. It's having good moments. But like, you know what I mean? I understand why people are kind of over it. They're taking over Raw and SmackDown now. So it's like, it's one thing to be a story, but now it's like the story again. And people are kind of over it, understandably so. So this one isn't too bad, but I can understand why people might have a problem with this. And it doesn't have an official graphic yet, but the ladder match. The women's title that Rhea relinquished, that she should have done a month ago, but nevertheless, she relinquished it. It's a 5-woman ladder match. All right, it seems like a pretty good idea until you realize, okay, the people that they have in it already don't make sense. So first off, Jade is in there. Okay, fine. Not that, you know what I mean? She's a top star. She just held it this year. Fine. Then Tiffany is in it, the US champion. And the person she beat was JC Jane. Why? Jade got in via DQ in like 30 seconds. That already is like a massive red flag. And then Tiffany's in it over someone who should be in it even more. That really doesn't make sense. And now Nia's getting a rematch against Charlotte. And we all know Charlotte's going to win it because Jade is in it. So now it's Jade, Tiffany, and Charlotte. And I'm going to take a big assumption here. The last two are probably going to be Chelsea Green and like a wild card. Maybe like Blake Monroe, maybe. I don't know. But like, that's your 5. I thought Jade and Charlotte would have a simple one-on-one. But now that's going to be a ladder match. Tiffany's in it, even though she should be defending her own title instead of going for another one. Why make her champion? Exactly. I don't understand why you're going to make a US champ if you're just going to have her fight for other championships. That doesn't make sense at all to me. Like, she defended her title like what, once? What was the point of that exactly? Like, why? So it's like this whole ladder match, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be bad because it's not gonna be bad. They still have a lot of good talent, but like, this was your opportunity to do something new. But yeah, you're going back to dink and dunks. Like I said before, dink and dunks. No more in routes, no more deep balls. Nope, just straight dink and dunks. That's it. That's all WWE. That's all WWE is now. It's just little dink and dunks. They don't do anything new. We gonna get to that in a minute. But like, even the card tonight isn't exactly awe-inspiring either, right? Like I said earlier, when we went over at the tag match, why? Why? The women's tag match, which is fine. It's not the biggest, most exciting match, but you know, I'm not complaining about it. In a 4-match card, we're getting a no DQ Danhausen match. I love Danhausen. Why is he getting a no DQ match? Whatever. Bayley and Lyra, no problems here. Super excited for this one. And then whatever this Roman Jalen Brunson segment is supposed to be, I have no clue. I have no. What is the purpose of this segment? I don't understand. I'm going to assume Seth comes out at some point. That's kind of a given. But like, is it another brawl? But if it's a brawl, why is Jalen Brunson here? I don't know. WWE doesn't make sense. And let's move on to some non-SummerSlam related stuff, like the lack of new main event talent. Braun Breaker this year when he fought CM Punk, that was your opportunity. Everyone's like, okay, if you didn't win it here, WrestleMania, that's the time. What do? We're in July, 6 months later. He is the least important member of his own faction. The least important. How is that possible? Oba Femi wins King of the Ring. Opportunity to fight Roman Reigns. He says no, let's fight Brock. Which again, match will be great. You rendered the entire thing pointless. If you're going to have Seth fight Roman anyway, just have Seth win King of the Ring. Like, it's literally that simple. Just have Seth win King of the Ring. Like, that's it. You could have had the blow-off match between Seth and Braun happen in the finals. Or have Seth fight Oba and do something there. Because Oba losing to Seth does not hurt Oba at all. It doesn't. It really doesn't. So it's like, why? You could have done the Seth of Braun match that happened at Night of Champions. Just make that for the finals. Like, it was really that simple. But no, thinking dunks. Gotta have CM Punk as champion. Gotta have Cody. Gotta have Roman. You did something brand new with Sami Zayn. Nah, that's in 9 days. That's it. Just 9 days. Gunther retired 2 Hall of Famers in the span of a month. What is he doing? He's a jabroni. He's the biggest dummy in WWE. Like his character makes no sense. Why? Why? How? How is that possible? This man barely had a match for SummerSlam. This man barely had a match for WrestleMania. Like it took Seth coming back right before WrestleMania came back, like a couple weeks before, like a week or 2 before, for him to have a match. The guy who retired 2 Hall of Famers, the GOAT, barely had a match for WrestleMania. That's insane. That is nuts. And every single women's title reign, except Becky's IC title, was terrible. AJ Lee's run, terrible. Stephanie McMahon's run, Liv. Jade Cargill, Rhea. She barely had it, so I'm not going to count her. But like Jade, Stephanie, Liv, AJ Lee, Maxine. Terrible. It was bad. So she, you know, she's barely on TV like that to really do anything about it. So, you know, it's like, what? Why? How? What you call it? Tiffy. I forgot about her. Hers is even worse. The whole U.S. title is pointless. The women's U.S. title, it's pointless. There's no reason for it to exist at this point. They don't care about it. The tag divisions are bare bones right now. It's bare bones. They got talent. It's just they don't use it. Fraxium is the best tag team right now. How have they never been tag champs? Like even going back to last SummerSlam when they were like the big TLC 5-team, 6-team tag, they didn't win it at that point either. How are they not the tag champs? Because Damian Priest and R-Truth, which was fine at first, but now it's like, all right, what are we doing now? You're supposed to be fighting the War Raiders. When is that taking place? Genuinely, when is that taking place? They started teasing that like a month ago. They had a match against Fraxium last night, which was great. But like, when is that match going to take place? SummerSlam? Is it? I don't know. I have no idea. AAA? Damian Priest in AAA now, so I'd assume there, I guess. So it's like, what are we doing? Johnny Gargano is still a plank. He started that storyline in like what, February, March? And it still has no conclusion at this point. They're doing something with Sammy, I guess. But like, even then, what is the payoff for this? I don't think they know what the payoff for this even is. Jordan Grace hasn't been seen in months. How? Why? She debuted in like February. It's like a pretty big deal. She fights Jade for the title. It was a good match. And then she just disappeared and we've seen her like once since then. And it's like, what are we doing? Genuinely, what are we doing? The TKO corporate meddling, the firing of the New Day, not firing, the extension of the New Day, the non-extension of Sheamus, the treatment of Cody versus Randy. So it's like, yeah, bro, even going back to WrestleMania, the ticket prices were nuts. The TKO meddling of Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll. The match times, it got better, I'll give them that. But the WrestleMania match times were terrible. It was god awful. It ruined the experience for everyone. Not a single person watched WrestleMania and said, yeah, the ads were the best part. Not one. Everyone complained about the ads. Regardless of where you looked, everyone complained about it. The unresolved storylines. Who attacked Jay leading up to Elimination Chamber? Who attacked Jacob Fatu? Who was Adam Pearce talking to? Like, there's so many unresolved storylines that it's like, we don't have faith. Kairi Sane and her Asuka storyline. There's no solution, no resolution to that at all. So it's like when you combine all those things, it's like, yeah, no wonder why SummerSlam is failing. And everything I just talked about happened this year. I'm not even talking about 2025 stuff. I'm talking about the thing happened in 2026. No wonder why SummerSlam is failing. The product is not good. Yeah, it has been worse before, like 2018, 2019. Oh boy. Oof. That was a rough time. It's not as bad as that, but like still, it's not a good product. These shown flashes, they still show flashes of good moments. They do. But it's just most of the time, it's just not good. But those are my thoughts on the reason why SummerSlam is failing. Let me know yours in the comments. While you're down there, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell for more wrestling videos. This is Eli, signing out. Peace.